Well, hello there, Nigel here with you again. So today you'll see a bit of a happier face. It's Friday the 19th of September 2025. So I have now had this car for June, July, August and we're into September, and she's done. I'm just waiting for the rear shocks to be delivered. As I said before, when you lift it up, they say, I've lifted it up and down a few times and now they do move, but when they move, if you can imagine what it's like getting two pieces of steel tube that fit closely together, then leave them out in the rain for a week, let them rust, and then slide them together. They sound terrible. It sounds like they're absolutely rotten inside, so I'm not going to mess with those. What else? Yeah, so she's running like a dream, ticking over beautiful, no leaks from anywhere. Shouldn't have said that, should I? Absolutely mint, love it. Absolutely love it to bits. Back in my good books again. The first gear thing, as I said, I've sat here before scratching my head, saying it was going to be something stupid. I had Dave over yesterday. Dave was looking at my milling machine and my lathe for me. So thanks very much for that, Dave. We had a couple of beers last night, so bought a couple of beers for that. So yeah, hi Dave. Oh, and hi Mum. Mum watches, and Dottie's saying hello as well. Hello. So basically, yeah, if I think about, I'll put a couple of pictures up. In the top of the gearbox, there's like this spring thing. It's like it comes round, it winds a couple of times around the post and then goes back up. And what it is, the selector goes between that spring, and that's what makes the gear stick always come back to the middle. You know, in your car, if you go to first, it comes back up to the middle. Third and fourth, straight forward and back, and then you push it over for fifth and reverse, and first and second, unless you've got a dog leg, of course. So here's a dog leg here, there's one dog leg, so use that as a gear stick. Whoops, she didn't like that very much. So anyway, now I know that this is a really good edit and you'll struggle to see this pop in, but yeah, I do work hard at these edits, as you can tell. I started to tell you about the spring and then went on about Dottie's leg, didn't I? So yeah, there's a spring in the top of the gearbox, which is like this, that your selector goes down through, and it sort of goes like this, it winds around a post and then it goes back up. And I specifically looked, I took a photograph of it when I took the gearbox apart, and specifically went to that photograph, and I remember putting it back in the right way round. But here we go again. Remember the debacle with the bloody steering rack where I lost my rag? It was a really hot day, I was in the car, I couldn't work out how the bloody thing went back together, and I managed to turn that spring over. I lift the selector out and it flipped the spring over, and I just pushed it back down. And it went back in the wrong way. So as you can see from the photos, as I said, I'll put the photos up now. This is the correct way. So you can see that spring comes along from one side, winds around and then goes back over the other. The selector goes down in the middle of those. And then as the selector moves over, of course, the spring gives way, and that's what pushes the gear stick back and keeps it in the center. I had it crossed over. So obviously I was always fighting against myself because I was trying to pull the left side over when it was trying to pull the right side. Do you know what I mean? It was so yeah, it was just a simple fix. I did take the detent plate out, all the balls are in there, all the springs are in there. Couldn't work it out. Dave couldn't work it out, and he said it just feels so wrong, because it just feels that when you're trying to push it in, it's like something stopping you, almost like there's a rubber block or something in the way, which made me take the tunnel out, because I thought there was maybe a big piece of padding or something in there. And then I thought, I'll have a look at the selector, and sure enough, there it was, staring me straight in the face. Bloody idiot. I must learn to not lose my rag, or work in hot weather, or work when there's kids screaming or footballs about. Maybe I should just stay on the modelling bench and leave these cars alone. Maybe. Right, let's get back to the original video and I'll finish waffling there. So yeah, she's running. I've got her up to, I let it run up to about 95 degrees on the gauge and the fan didn't kick in. So I'm going to let her cool down, and later on when it's all cooled down, I'll check the connections. I retorqued the head, it all went again. So remember, if you've got one of these, retorque the head. On the subject of engines, I've just bought another engine, a 2 litre I found on eBay for a very reasonable price. So I've bought that. It's a gamble because it's sold as spares, but it's worth it just for the block. So, and it's a 2 litre. I think I already said that, didn't I? So there we go. I've got a massive delivery of parts, as I say, from Kevin. I haven't even opened it yet because I've been belly aching over this and scratching my head. But she's all back together now. I've had to do some modelling videos as well, which haven't gone out yet. They'll go out in a little while. Basically, yeah, I've got some ideas for videos for this channel which are Fiat 131 related, but not necessarily out in the garage, sort of up on the bench with some books and some models and stuff. And also I think Jadlam are going to be sending me some little specials for putting on the channel as well, which will be cool. Again, all Fiat 131 related, mostly Abarth related, but it won't be anything other than Fiat 131 Abarth on this channel, or Fiat 131 anyway on this channel. So yeah, happy boy, all back together. I think I need to bleed the brakes again. The brakes are really good, but I've got a lot of travel. It could just be the front pads aren't bedded in, but I've got new discs, so they should be a solid pedal from the start. But I think the rears take a lot of adjusting and setting up and everything, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I can take the drums off and mechanically pull them out a couple of notches. We shall see. I'll have a look at that when I've got the wheels off for the to do the rear shocks. I'm not going to start the rear shocks now because I don't have the new ones. The trouble is with this car, the way it's designed, it's coilover. I mean, it's a 5-link rear end with coilovers, yeah? It's what people spend a fortune to convert a Mark II Escort in, and this car had it from standard. So there you go. Yeah, so the trouble is you've got the shock absorber is in the middle of the coil spring, and the shock absorber is bolted to the body, and the axle and the coil spring is around it. So when you let the car down, when you lift the car up, sorry, the axle drops down to the full extent of the shock absorber. So if I take the shocks off, I've got to then just put them back on, otherwise I won't be able to jack the car up or anything. So yeah, and if I try and lift it up on the ramp, the axle will want to fall out and it'll probably want to rip the brake lines. So I'm hoping what I can do is, because they stick up, I'm hoping I can do one side at a time and get the spring compressors on the coils, compress the coils, and then undo the shock, let it drop down on a jack, pull the spring out, pull the shock out, and then compress the new shock, put it in with the spring, do everything out and let the axle down. I'm hoping that's what I can do. We shall see. But I could have it up on the ramp and put trolley jacks under the axle, or have the axle up on blocks or whatever. I'm sure there's going to be more than one way to skin a cat with this one. So there we go. So yeah, I'm a happy boy, and it's going. You can see there's my beautiful GR Yaris over there, and there's my beautiful Land Rover there. And now that this is pretty much done, I think now we can start looking at getting the Land Rover back up and running. It's running, it just needs to do a few little bits and pieces. So maybe get that sorted. Right, I shall see you soon. Just a quick update really, nothing really much to report. I can't really show you doing anything because there's nothing to do. I'm going to put a little bit of primer on that back end. I've got the back lights out because I've had to do some work with the connectors and stuff. Obviously it's been stood for years. So I've got all the lights working and everything now, everything's lovely. So good, really good, everything's good. See you soon, thank you for watching. Bye for now.